just want you guys to just introduce yourselves and just like your name, how long you've been skating, and maybe like briefly how you started with the DIY, and then we'll go like full on. So, do you want to start, Patrick?
Yeah, hi, my name is Patrick. Skated since I was 6 maybe. Fast forward, moved here 2011 and from Philippines straight here, California, and then 2017 I moved here in Chicago. And met these guys because of skateboarding, and here we are now. Next thing you know, we're on a project that's briefly started like 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, and now we're on fire. Now we're setting up for the next year's project.
Hell yeah!
Pretty much, yeah.
That's sick. I didn't know that. I know you guys, but I don't know you, so I didn't even know that you moved here in 2011. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's
just gave you like a startup.
You live in California too. That's like sick. And how about you?
I am Aaron. I am from all over the place. My parents are in the military. I've lived here for like maybe 15, 20 years, somewhere in there, off and on. And I found out about the place because I live in McKinley, or I used to live in McKinley Park until about 3 months ago, and just knew all these dudes. And during the pandemic, got very bored and wanted to do something different.
We're going to start working on the DIY.
Yeah.
So who reached out to you guys like first, or how did you even like hear about it? Were you there from like the beginning where there was like, I remember driving past it and like seeing something there.
Yeah.
And just like seeing these like really tall like marble ledges, and I'm like, oh, it feels like somebody's trying to make something happen with skating, but I didn't know who was involved or what it was about. But then all of a sudden I see like my cousin building stuff there, but like how did that, at what point of like the process did you guys get involved, or like who, did you see it first and then hit someone up? Did someone hit you up, or?
Honestly, for me, it was, there was a group of like hipster dudes that were doing like an art gallery around the corner called like Gear Symbol, and they started building a pretty crude quarter pipe, like, not trying to like talk shit or anything, but it wasn't like very smooth or anything like that. And we kind of were like, hey, like, there's a whole bunch of us like skaters in the area, like why don't we start helping or whatever. And then we kind of just like took it over for the most part.
Skaters,
so yeah, they were skaters too. They just weren't like there nearly as much, and like they weren't like, they're more focused on their projects than like, we kind of just like globbed onto it. But yeah, Juan started popping over, we met him, and then then we really started like going to town. But initially it was kind of just like, we think we could do better. Like, we didn't like what we were seeing.
You were like seeing that and saying we could do something different.
Well, it wasn't even like, they didn't even smooth the concrete. So like nothing was even like, cleaned up. It was pretty rough. Like it was just like, and so we were just like, hey, why don't we like try to make it smooth? So that's when we kind of jumped on, and then we just kind of took over the whole thing.
And this was during the pandemic?
This is in the beginning of the pandemic,
like, we have this free time, this opportunities here.
Initially, I was kind of like not into the DIY because it was just those 2 tall ledges and really rough ground, and I'm old and I can't skate those 2 tall ledges.
So it doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, so we wanted something different. So now we have like more accessible, low grade, like, slappy stuff like all over the place.
Sick. How about you? How did you get started? Did you know Aaron before or no?
I've known Aaron because of this park that I go to, LV2, also known as Prison Park. First time hearing DIY was when we had, we were just skating that night, and then he started mentioning like, oh, we were trying to build this snake over at a DIY, and then we didn't pretty much like talk about it like for, all the details, but we just found a spot. This is it. We're gonna go there. We're gonna build this obstacle, and then just have fun with it. And then we got really high because we got the material. Surprisingly, Juan was there. I remember all the materials were present, and then it's my first time handling those and build it out of like we were all excited. It was built out of hype, in my opinion, but no measurements, like just slap.
All the stuff was literally just like we didn't do much better than the guys initially. Like
you guys came in like we could do way better.
It was smooth, but it wasn't much better. Like
you improved it a little bit, and then
we went abstract on that one, especially the tail. Like instead of like just simple ending,
whose
we just
idea was it? Like who?
But the snake.
The snake.
So that was actually Stu, and Juan. And was it Kevin? the Spazmania or whatever.
Oh,
The three.
okay,
Yeah, so Kevin,
Kevin.
and then me, and then Alex. We were just like,
Thinking
we
of-
had like 10 bags of concrete. We just started like putting shit together. We like Stu and Juan glued a bunch of rocks and cinder blocks on the ground to form the first snake. And then that just sat like that for like a month. And then me and Alex like spent the rest of the year building it very poorly. Initially, we didn't even add aggregate to the concrete, so it like wouldn't even like harden properly, and you couldn't grind it. So like we built a very beautiful part and then had to rip it out. And then we got like we just kept going online and just learning more about the stuff. Like, but yeah, that was one that it was very. Very abstract, very like artistic.
Yeah, artistic.
Maybe not like the most.
Sculptures.
Yeah, maybe not the most like skatable.
Yeah.
So everyone that skated there said it was pretty fucking hard to skate. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, we would just throw ideas and then like not even like to talk about it. Just like just let's just
Yeah,
we would
let's
just
run
consider
with it,
any
let's, like,
type
go
of idea we
with
throw.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't even consider like just brainstorm it, and then like we didn't even consider like.
yeah, we didn't even brainstorm it. 'Cause
Yeah,
it was like
yeah,
someone else did it. We just finished.
All
it.
right, he
Like,
had
it was-
this idea. All right, let's just put it in. All right, let's conclude this, that, and then
Does
next thing you know,
anybody
it was
get like
there.
territorial of like I started doing it like this, and then someone comes in like the next weekend that they're not there, and then starts like doing something else? Or
No,
is
we're
there-
pretty like
No,
I think
yeah.
we're pretty bureaucratic with everything, like for better or for worse. Like sometimes like I think there's something there that everyone would probably rather have different, but like it's all voted. Like we just go with the majority, so it's just like tough. You don't like that one this time. Like you'll probably have your way with something else. Like it's like there's like the wall ride. I wanted it to be smaller there. It's 5 cinder blocks tall. It's very hard to get up to the top.
No, that's
But it's 5 cinder blocks tall. I lost out on that one.
You just roll with it.
Yeah, it's all good. It's like it's fun anyway. Like it's more just if someone's like there was rocks someone was mentioning putting rocks inside of like a spine that was shot down pretty harshly kind of, but like it was definitely like shot down. Like it's just like we just let like if people aren't into it, they just will let we're not into it. And if there's an idea that takes off, that's usually the one that we all run with. So like we have like that cinder, we have like the bank to slappy curbs that goes down. Like that was one of those things that like people weren't really into that, and then when it got built and we tried it, like they were like,
I
oh shit, this
saw
whole
it.
side should be it like this.
Yeah, I saw it and I was just like, oh, no way is it gonna be easy to skate. It like looks too short or something.
Yeah.
But then like I did skate it and I was like, oh no way,
I literally stole
it. Like goes, it's like
Yeah,
sick.
I stole the
It's
idea
pretty
from
good.
it's called Crookston or Crook Swamp DIY. They have like all these cool ideas. I just was like, I will
Researching.
I will take this idea and run with it here. It looked really fun to skate.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
like so wild how things just like happen so like organically, and there's no like I don't know, that's like rare to
Yeah.
see, but it's just I don't know. I
We're also
feel
a
like
seeing is believing kind of crowd. Like whereas like no one will believe that will be fun. Like people will be like, that's not going to be fun to skate until someone until it gets built and we
like
skate
a
it.
street spot.
Yeah.
Like if there's like a spot people drive around until like one person goes and does
Yeah.
something cool,
Like, this
and then
looks
they'll
like
bring
shit.
other
They'll bring-
people to like want
for
to
sure.
skate it.
Yeah.
I'm like that's so sick.
Yeah, everything gravitates towards it for sure.
Yeah. Oh my god. That's so rare that things like happen like so organically and a community gets like built so
Yeah.
organically, and I feel like I don't know. It's like a special place and a special time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
for sure.
Yeah.
Which is
definitely.
sick. 'Cause
Well, it's
I-
like herding. You know how they say like dealing with skateboarders is like herding cats. Well, it's like it's also good like the
I never
reverse
heard
way.
that, but
Well, yeah, trying to get everyone to like show up at the same place at the same time and
Yeah.
stuff. But it also works really well for like building stuff because then we're all over the place, and like whenever it all kind of comes together with like some crazy idea versus just like one person like dictating like this is the way the park looks and all that stuff.
Just like how skaters are, I feel like sometimes with like street spots or other like projects, like getting like territorial or whatever,
Yeah.
and like even like other DIYs too, where it's like a clubhouse for these like certain types of people. This one seems
Yeah.
like a little bit like a different vibe. Like
Well,
more
Alex
open.
would say we're very polite skaters.
We're
That's,
polite skaters.
Yeah, I guess I can imagine him talking right now.
Yeah, but I've heard him say that. He's like, "Well, we're kind of polite
We're
skaters,
like,
and we're not trying to hurt each
polite.
other's feelings or to like bother each other too much. Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we all want like something cool to skate and like hang out at. So
Yeah. Did you guys like ever feel? Did you guys ever imagine that you'd be like doing something with like a DIY, or
No.
did you feel like, oh, there's something lacking in skating that like I wish we had this? It just nobody.
No.
no, I always wanted to like. I'm not a good per se skateboarder. Like, I'm not going to leave my mark on skateboarding, like flipping my board or doing something like that.
Yeah.
I'm also,
Me too.
like I'm not someone that's
Yeah.
like drawing all the time. Like I do like to draw and do other things. I'm not like doing it persistently to the point where I could like push that into like something like else. So I've always wanted to like I think most skaters, we want to leave our mark some way or another. This just kind of like happened. Like I was trying to build DIY shit in front of my apartment in a small little spot and like on like the whatever like the parkway or whatever, and then that I was just happy that like I couldn't pour concrete in there or anything, so I was trying to like figure out different stuff. So I like the idea that like we found like a spot that the neighborhood does not care about, like they're like very happy that we're over there, and like I never would have thought that I'd be mixing concrete or like in building ramps, like smoothing them out looked like so alien to me, like doing the screeding or whatever, like that just seemed like that was the hardest thing in the world, and
now it's like
it's still pretty hard. I'm not that great at it.
How about you? Did you ever imagine or ever like have like ambitions that you'd want to learn how to build something or?
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you like rephrase that?
I know I'm all over the place, but like when you were like skating before, could you ever imagine like working on like a DIY, or did you ever like want to do, or were you ever curious?
I never saw it coming, to be honest. Next thing you know, yo, Pat, we got this project going on. You if you want to join in, and then I was there, and then.
You thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. We work on something, and then the reward part is we skated, which is like the most satisfying part, and then we never stopped from there. We just planned one building day after the other. So and then as we go, I decided to take pictures, and then as much as possible document this as much as away from the way beginning, because I'm pretty sure.
Let's back up. Like, when did you start shooting photos, or did you? Because I don't know. I see your work, and it's like beautiful and like sentimental, and I just see it. But I'm like, what's your background in like photography? Did you shoot like skate photos or like?
He's the team media manager.
Right. Yeah. It was a timing as well when I've been a big fan of photography. Well, for all like film skaters out there, I'm pretty sure you all started when we got injured, and then there's nothing else you could do but pick up the camera and then film your homies,
and still
show your homies,
still have like.
And then it starts from there. You start watching music videos because you can't skate. You're injured or whatnot, and then you just have all these imaginations that you wish you could do, and then. Now once you're back, you have this skill that you like you probably like manifested while you were injured, and then the best part is the outcome. You work for it. Best part is you have homies that are down to film. So like just tell them like, all right, I'm making this clip. I'm trying to make a video by the end of the season. So I know if you could. And then it's all participation, and then trust them, and then they trust you, and then best part is the outcome, and then you show it to them, and then everything is just like
So how long have you been like shooting photos?
Shooting photos. Well, for photos, I'd say when I was in high school, but now lately I just stood in film photography. Film photography started in early 2012 or 13 maybe.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it came from I was inspired by my local shop back in San Mateo, California. Alice, shout out Alice. They had this they're a group of they're great guys, but most of them are photographers as well. So they had this series which they would sometimes give free like pamphlets or photo books or whatnot. Yeah. And I used to always get a copy, and then that kind of inspired me of like I don't know, like film behaves in a different way compared to digital. It's. Film is grainy. I know, you get the grainy feeling,
like it's
but then
emotional or something.
Well, not only that, like the process and everything from the camera to the from the development and to the print, and compared to digital, it's like it's so versatile that you can do so much, and then it's like easy process and easy input, easy output, pretty much. But for film, it's a whole different spectrum. So we're talking about. Well, just the camera alone, you do the measurements, not the camera. Yeah. And then when it comes to development, you got all these, chemicals, and then like the proper procedure, the perfect timing and everything. And then when it comes to printing, and then, that's where the paper comes in, dimensions and whatnot. It involves a lot of measurements. And like I said, again, there's something about this process that you do and the reward feeling, once the outcome.
It's like skating.
Yeah, it's like skating. Everything. Yeah,
Everything circles back.
Yeah, everything is art. That's why like skateboarding and photography are quite. I know. What do you call this one? They're quite like correlate. Yeah, and trying to correlate to each other because both involves like measurements and process or whatnot, and then you get the outcomes.
So you already had that background.
Yeah.
What you were doing.
And then I was doing photography, and then I stumbled upon the DIY, and then it kind of gave me the opportunity to let me document this and start taking photos. And we would be in the middle of building, and I would step back, or pause and step back, and then let me take this like photo, and then and then just throw it out there. And
we wouldn't really have very many photos of the place, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I got my phone's a skating phone. I have no camera. It's broken.
Yeah.
Like it's
you guys were too busy building. And,
we're always like too busy doing stuff or
Mm-hmm.
being dirty. So it's nice to have someone like we actually get to look back and actually have.
I'm gonna sound so cheesy, but how you're like, I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna leave a mark, and you kind of found it with like the DIY, and then like you found your thing, which was like documenting it. And it's like, I don't know, that's like so sick.
I ever since I got injured, got into like multimedia, images, motion pictures, and I practiced it. Make videos out of scratch, like make skate videos out of a digital camera. These are like the early 2000 era, and we just make videos out of that. And just keep going, and then eventually you'll learn as you go.
Wow, that's so sick. Is there like a different, I guess, like feel, or like, is there something that like a skate park doesn't like give you that a DIY does, or like?
Yeah, so here it's all Spawn Ranch parks. They're all built.
What that is, but
Spawn Ranch is like the one that builds out here. Because everything has to be union based in Cook County, so like you won't get any of like the non-union parks or anything like that. So you won't get like
I didn't know that.
What's it called? Like Evergreen is non-union, like the ones that are all like super rolly in space, they look like you landed on the moon or something. Like they're all transitioned for the most part. Those are non-union, so you won't get them in here. So Spawn Ranch is union. They build fine parks, but they just like build shit that we don't need. Like in Chicago, stair sets. Like what the fuck? Like we've got a million of them. Like why are we building them at skate parks? Like we have perfect ones all over the place. Just like the control aspect, I guess. Like we get to. There's like no one builds slappy shit. No one builds like fun transition or like Chicago's like lacking transition. It's so heavy.
Oh my god, you guys might not know the answer to this, but is there, when they were like building some of these parks, did they get input from like the skaters? Like
they do, but like the skaters are, I don't know, like it's kind of weird too.
Skaters are too lazy to come to the meetings.
Well, no, it's like Spawn Ranch it has skaters in it. I know some of the people. They are transition skaters. They just build very like cookie cutter kind of like like generic, like there's just a lot of stuff to skate inside of a thing, but they're not like, I don't feel like they're like really fleshed out or thought out for like what would be a fun line or what would be like cool to do.
Make it unique and cool.
Yeah, which is like what we're like, everything we plop down is like, what does this lead you to? Like what do you go to next after this? And like what do you like we want to be able to do a full circle.
Making use of like that space for lines.
Yeah, well we want to be able to do like a figure eight basically, like I think is the best way to go around the park,
That's so sick.
So yeah, like we're on our way there.
Can I
jump in, please?
So I guess this is a good conversation because I think about Logan Square, like how people are pushing for a new park there.
Yeah.
Right.
And how they're really taking into consideration like skater input.
Yeah.
And when we had Juan and Mike come in, they were talking about how when Burnham was built, they didn't ask they asked like the skaters their opinions and their ideas.
And they threw the trash, right?
Yeah, but once the building started, the skaters were like, no, they didn't accept their feedback. And so Spawn Ranch, like I hope they're like listening to us. But I feel like what you said was like really good feedback.
One of the dudes follows
right?
me, so
okay. But I feel like that's really good feedback because you're right. Like it's very much like cookie cutter like skate spots. Or,
and they're
like,
nice, and they're good parks.
Nice,
and I like that's where I met this dude. Like LB2 is a Spawn Ranch park, but it's one that like I get very. It doesn't push me out of my box. Like I get very stuck in a loop there. Like it's which is why I like DIYs. It's like everything's like that ground is fucked up. There's also there's like sometimes you just have to go a different way because like there's a pile of sand there that we left the last time or like whatever.
Yeah. And I think what you said, like Chicago already has like all these stair spots
and ledges and all that. Like why?
And I wonder if like maybe they're also hired to like keep us contained.
So that's
in these,
a fun,
like, spaces.
crazy conspiracy
like I'm thinking
theory
about that. Yeah, tell us.
So that's a conspiracy theory I have on that I think that they'll try to outlaw street skating eventually by building more parks and then enacting harsher fines, and you know, like as the world gets more fucked up and harder to live in, why make it better for us? Like, so I could see them, you know, they're doing it in New York already. They're pumping out parks in that area. I could see like a huge crackdown on skateboarders at some point. Like, I used to get tackled and like arrested and shit back when I was a kid.
That totally makes like sense, because they build every time like I'm skating a street spot, like someone will yell like, "But there's parks."
Yeah, there's a park right over there.
Like, you're just being an asshole or something, and I mean that is why the city probably invests in parks. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And Juan did tell me that even still today, there's like some law in place where like you can get ticketed as a skater for skating the street. I didn't know
there's
that.
always been that.
There's always been
that. And there's also just trespassing right there.
Even like skating on like a sidewalk, you get a ticket.
Yep.
Like you're not.
Cops are just lazy.
You're not supposed to do that.
But yeah, that's my you know, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but that's my conspiracy theory, is that they'll just be, you know, like, you should be at the park, and then give you a nice like $300 or $400 ticket, and it's expensive, man. We're poor people, skateboarders.
I know. Okay, so we were like, let's get back on what we were talking. What were we talking about? Yeah, we were talking about like the difference between like because there is a sense of community at that park, like the people that always like go there or like hang out and stuff.
Which one, LV2 or?
Yeah.
And that also, I think that's another thing too. The vibe shifted there. Like, it got weird. Like, during the pandemic, people started fighting a lot more. The locals, like, everyone kind of grew up a bit, and like, so like a lot of the kids that lived in the area that were like fun to skate with and that were always there, they all moved away. They like now live in like Logan Square, or they live other places, and they just like, so a whole new wave of people came in. Some of them are cool, but like, it just got weird. Like, you used to be able to like leave your backpack there and skate and do whatever.
35th?
No, over at the one right by Cook County.
Oh, okay, that's my local, so I want to hear about this.
Yeah, so we'd like, you know, you'd be able to leave your shit there and like never have to worry about it. And then like weirdos would just show up. Now like you get like more weirdos and like lurker type people like that don't skate, and they just like sit and like, you know, try to like sell coke on like the, you know, the stairs or whatever. And then you have just like people I don't know that I don't feel comfortable around anymore. Like, it used to be a very comforting situation, never fighting or any of that stuff. I think the last like 4 times I was there, I watched like people get straight up like the shit kicked out of them. Like, which is like entertaining, but
stuff like, I feel the culture changes a lot. Like, things like come in waves. I remember at like one of the older, I feel like before, when it was just Petrowski Park, the one on, I forgot what street.
Yeah, the 31st.
Yeah, I feel like that one used to always be like crowded, and it would have like people from the north side coming to like skate it, and it was like very like things going on in events, and then that like became like desolate. There would be like nobody skating. Like,
no, because it's all it is ledges. Unless you're about that life, it's like
there was like nobody like skating there for like a while. So I don't know. I feel like hopefully there's like another wave that like happens, or like something good happens.
Yeah. I'd rather see a DIY wave, honestly.
Yeah, that's like sick. Do you guys like, I feel like there's not too big of a like DIY scene in Chicago, not like compared to like other cities that I feel like have had like generations of like DIYs, and like I feel like in Chicago I really don't know of too much, like,
because all of ours get ripped out because they get blown up too fast.
And I'm just like, I was gonna ask, like, why do you think that is, or why it hasn't, like, I don't know, maybe because it's like a city where there's not a lot of like open space. I don't know.
That for sure, but also like our bridges are all state property, they're state property everywhere, but like they are actively patrolled by like state police and things like that, versus like you go to like Burnham or not Burnham, but Burnside, or you go to like FDR and stuff. Like, I've never been to either of those, but like I believe that they're a little bit more off the beaten path initially, like, so you're not like going straight up like underneath the bridge. That's like, you know, our bridges that go underneath the highway are like straight up through some of the busiest areas in Chicago. So like, how are you going to sneak that? Like, it's the one that they did in Chinatown. They were sneaking it, and then, you know, every neighbor in that area complained, and that shit got ripped out. Yeah, I mean, there was that one on the north side that started during the pandemic that was on like Irving. But that one lasted like a minute, because I think Timmy Johnson landed some tricks there, made it to the barracks, and then that shit was gone pretty quickly.
Wow.
But yeah, there's just like, you know, land's at a premium here. Like, it's we're a heavily developing city. You know, like warehouse space doesn't exist. It's, you know, there's no place really for it. So like, there's just certain little pockets that you can do it. I think the South Side is why ours has been around for 3 years.
Yeah, that is rare, right?
Because I mean, the other DIY is on private property. It's like, you know, the Pilsen DIY is, you know, technically on someone's land that I'm not sure the situation, but like, you know, like they're not getting fucked with. Like, you know, we are straight up like just doing what we want on someone else's stuff. So without asking.
Yeah, that's wild.
But yeah, there's also, like everything's just getting developed. Like it's just, if you start doing shit, like it'll probably be knocked down pretty quickly.
Oh no, that's bad news.
DIY's not meant to last, but I don't know. That's true.
Yeah, DIYs are not made to last anyway. Or unless, like ours, I would like it to last, but that's like, I think the thing that you always start out with is that like this.
Even the obstacles keep changing. So like there's always that aspect too.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
Actually not lasting long.
Yeah. Well, I think that now we're in a spot where we're going to just leave them how they are. Like the first, like
because they're good. So.
Yeah, we also like hurt people when we move them. If you'd like that story, we chopped off our friend's tip of his finger.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Shout out
our me and your cousin Alex and Adley were taking about a 200-pound, maybe, or 300. I don't know. It was a really big piece of concrete. Part of that snake, we were breaking it up, and I'm pushing it for backfill using a wooden cart that I made with like shopping cart caster wheels on the bottom.
Okay.
And we were flipping it over, and me and Alex were on the same page. Adley was just a split second behind, and his hand was still on it. And so we have blood spilt there. Part of his body is somewhere in the he's missing the tip of his hand, or his finger.
Wild.
Yes, and it's in the inside of the.
Who was there? Were you there?
No, it was just me, Alex, and Adley.
Well, you guys kept your cool. Like,
no.
No, you guys. Oh wow.
I after wrapping his finger up, I had like a little panic
idea
attack.
that time.
Alex drove him to the hospital, and I cleaned up everything and gathered it up. I looked for his finger for a bit, and we couldn't find it. He had a job.
I was still on my way that time, and then I just got a word from Alex like, "Yep, I mean it's a wrap." And then I couldn't figure out what was going
on. It was supposed to be a longer day, and it did.
Wow! You guys like have a sense of humor. I'm like so in shock. I'm like, wow, it sounds like crazy.
No, it was awful. I felt very, very bad for him. I was going through it, and I wasn't even in any of that pain. I was like, holy shit, that's a lot. So.
Wow, I wish he was here. I'm like, well, what did?
Yeah, Adley joined in. First half of the season, you think?
Yeah, so he's like he's a latecomer. So
yeah,
he's been around a lot since he came in, but yeah, he's year 2.
And then he stuck through it after all of that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, no, he's still he comes around. I mean, he was like showing up. I was making him wear rubber gloves so he wouldn't get the thing infected. Like he was showing up, just like wrapped up in band-aids.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
No, he's down for the cause, but just that was.
Yeah, I skated with him, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta put my glove on," but I was just like, "Okay." I'm just like, "That's like sounds like a
big
good
Michael
idea."
Jackson fan.
I'm just like,
my one glove.
Wow, that's wild. That's like crazy.
So he's got like the tip of his finger is in one of those bank to slappy curbs. I think it's like the second one or third one.
God.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Pretty good stuff.
That's great.
But did not keep our composure at all. Alex kept it better than I did for sure.
Yeah.
I don't like seeing blood.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I feel like I'd expect like a
glad I wasn't there yet.
Or a bone too. I saw some of that. Yeah.
Wow. Wild.
Yeah, so that's a fun story.
That is a fun story. I'm just like so in shock, like thinking about it. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that we're probably done ripping stuff up. That was like, yeah.
That was the last.
Actually, no. We're ripping up because there's 2 quarter pipes. There's like one good quarter pipe that's kind of mellow, and then one that's like almost a bank ramp that's got like a bunch of like waves in it. So yeah, anyone that wants to come and help, we're knocking that out next year.
Yes, we're not next year for
You'll
sure.
leave with all your fingers, I promise.
Amazing. Wow. So in California, were you around any like DIYs, or is this all totally new to you also?
I was so when I moved from Philippines to California.
Did you skate in the Philippines?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I started when I was like.
You like went through so many different.
Yeah, on and off. I started when I was like 6th grade, and then I got injured, and then that's how I started filming, and I just carried it all the way here, and then first thing I did when I landed in California, I looked for my local skate park, because I wanted to figure out like, all right, this is how I'm gonna skate this part, just plotting everything, and then
what would you skate? Were you like more like transition or
no,
like
just street, because back in Philippines we don't have a park. We have to build our own, flat bar. Yeah, fun boxes. They don't even last over there. I remember.
It's just like a box that you build.
Yeah, a box, and then we would just carry it. We have this like tricycle, so a motorcycle with a sidecar. We call it tricycle. We would just like make friends with one of them, and then get his number, and then just like call him whenever we need him, and carry the box, and then we would just go one spot to another, get kicked out, move to another spot, and we just do this continuously for like all year round because Philippines is just hot as fuck.
What's it like getting kicked out in the Philippines?
Like from spot to spot, from a trip.
Like, what are they like? Like, what are the people like? Are they like? Because
like security guards for sure.
But are they like mega dicks, or are they like just like, hey, what are you doing here?
Yeah. Like politely, but and then if we decided
was
to.
Was there a big scene back then? Because I feel like when I started skating, there was a scene, but it wasn't like too crazy. But back then in the Philippines, were there a lot of people skating?
A lot, but in the city, in the capital of Philippines, which is Manila. But where I live is like 8 hours from there. So
oh my god!
It's a really small town, wow. And skating is just man. Being a skater in the town where I was, like, it was it makes you kind of like unique because you always like look different from them, and then you have this board that nobody knows where it come from because we don't have a skate park over there. So we would just
what were skate shops like? Were there
in the city? So we would just order from the city and then they'll ship the board to you. So and then we just do the
There's
setup.
There's no local. Wow, how do you keep skating through?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Not having, like, that many?
I just have affiliations or whatnot. So I have a shop that I can that I just like text my what I want. And
what
then,
years were these like?
2007 to 2010, something like that. So these were like my high school years, pretty much.
And the internet wasn't like so huge.
It wasn't even it wasn't even huge back then. I remember Facebook barely started, but
also like shipping to the Philippines would probably be crazy too.
Yeah, during that time that you're mentioning, they were still like catalogs for CCS.
I remember freaking out about those.
Yeah,
like maybe like 2 years ago, just for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah, we were. I was a big skateboarder fan back in Philippines. I remember we would go thrift shopping and then just go crazy and get hype on a skate shirt that I'd be finding and then the thrift store, and then
what brands did you like back then? What
the biggest brands like Etnies, Volcom, the usual brands you see in the mall or see in the catalogs. I mean it's big for us because you just live in a small town in a isolated country. So
pick out companies to hate and be jaded about
this
shit's whack. Skating's dope.
We were just excited of what the outside world
and
has
it was
that
like
we don't
so
have.
Unique, so you didn't see like lame people that skated. You're like, oh, I'm cooler than that person.
So
it was just
these cool kids with their fun boxes and ramps. Yeah, these kids, we got our own tricycle driver and whatnot. So we would just move from one spot to another. But we there's this abandoned gas station that that's all that was our mecca. It was the only spot we had.
Your own DIY.
Yeah, our own DIY. It just happened to have like 3 mani pads. 4, and then one decent ledge, and
yeah, that's a lot. You could do a lot.
That's a lot, and the floor was smooth, and it was basically our AKA skate park in that town, and that spot is where I got injured, major ankle injury that got me into filming and photography. So
what was the injury?
I did a puff shove over on the one stair, and then somehow my foot just slipped the tail, and then
just really bad roll.
Yeah, and then I remember my mom was in New Zealand back in the time, and then she sent me a digital camera as a gift.
Aww.
And that's how I started filming, and then and then my uncle gave me a laptop somehow. I forgot the story, but he gave me a laptop for a gift. I think it was my graduation, and then so I had those two. I would film my friends take photos and then edit it on the laptop. I remember an old ass Microsoft that has its own movie editor.
Oh, cool.
So I would just I would just brainstorm, and then back in the day, Barracks I think started. That was 2008. This is the very beginning of Barracks, and then I remember watching that and then just applying what I see, and then
that was your
and then that's how I just
What did your friends think? Were they was there anybody filming around? Or
no, it was just me. Everything. I was their multimedia as well. I remember we would go from one town to another, and then they couldn't go without me and my camera because they wanted to document it as well.
Yeah,
it was so weird because Back in our town, there's this like tribal instinct that we have. So it's like it's always this one town versus another town.
Oh, okay.
So we would like as a skater of this town, if we go to that town, we would just like destroy everything, like be the fucking alpha skaters
Were
or whatnot.
you not supposed to skate the spots in the other town?
No, we're very territorial for some reason back in the day, because like especially if we skated their DIYs, we would like I don't know, either we either get taxed or I don't know, not even like welcome to skate there. So it was like a scene. It's like a very scenic.
Locals only.
Yeah.
What were you doing with the footage? Were you like uploading it like on YouTube, or was that
Facebook?
Still
I remember it was on Facebook. Yeah, it's still in my account. It's still there, buried underneath there. I'll probably show it to probably. I don't know, but yeah.
Were there video premieres or no? You
No,
guys
just like posted it online, tag all my homies, and then they're all happy about it, and then they just share it. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's the best part is the outcome. You show all your homies the skate.
Wow.
videos.
Some of the things that I'm like jaded about now, about like some of like I don't know, like the barracks or like posting things, but I'm just like, but that sounds so innocent and pure and like beautiful and like necessary. Like I don't know, that's like so sick.
We're very lucky to live here and to be like always having skateboarding, like as much as like that's like when everyone was like really bitching about the Olympics. I'm like, dude, somebody's gonna start skating because of this, like in a country that has never seen skateboards and never had anything to do, like in some small little place that like like we're very we have Zoomies fucking not that it's cool, we have Zoomies everywhere, we have Van Store, we have so you get jaded, like we have so much shit, we're like we're just like I can pick and choose how much like cool shit we want about skateboarding versus like like anything that
just
anything that will come like
have
have skateboarding, like
you have to wait for 2 weeks in order for like your new board to arrive.
It's not like you just go to the shop.
Yeah, everything manual pretty much. So.
Yeah.
Dude, but that's sick. A lot of the things of like how you started is like what's so beautiful about like skating, like being with your friends and making your own things. And
I think he has been doing a DIY a lot longer than you think.
Yeah, that was a DIY.
It was a big culture shock for me, especially skateboarding when I moved to California, because California is the shit. I mean,
mutants of skateboarding.
It's where skateboarding
and then like
started.
skate parks everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I was just ordering from, and I was just in a small town, and next thing you know, I'm like talking to Daryl Angel, because I have a friend back in California. He, I think he works for Thrasher or whatnot. He affiliates. He's affiliate with a lot of like skate brands, but then he's friend with Daryl Angel, and then I remember Daryl would get a lot of Nike stuff because he used to be sponsored by Nike, and then he would get so many stuff that he would hit up my friend and then start selling shit. So so my friend, he already had a lot of stuff, but then he offered me to like, hey, you want to buy Daryl Angel stuff? Like he just like showed me, and then
he pro too, like that's crazy.
He showed me his phone, and they're like, all right, this is all the list that he sells, and then I would just message him like, all right, this is what I want.
Did you go crazy now that there was like so much available? I mean, you got like hoarded a lot of skate gear?
I've never thought like the stuff that I watch on TV are like are right in front of me now. Like being in the park, being in a skate park, being in a skate contest, and then just meeting all the pros. Like it's a different feeling, man. But then like I said, I wish all my homies were here back in Philippines. They would, be
hyped on that.
Hype, yeah, for sure they would be hyped the same as I was. But yeah.
Wow, that's like so awesome.
Yeah, skateboarding is very, it's very important, because if not, you won't be able to meet people
Yeah, you do meet like so many different.
people. Yeah.
Do you still keep in contact with like your friends from the Philippines?
Yeah, some of them are. Yeah, some of them are.
So
yeah.
sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they would see me and then they would just comment. Like I would, because back in San Francisco, I used to work at an airport in SFO, and then I would meet pro skaters who would just fly out.
Flying in and out.
I was like, can I take a quick flick? And then just send it to my homies like, this guy. Yeah, I was able to meet Shane O'Neill, Dustin Dolan, Matt Miller, these guys. I still remember them. Like I don't know. And I would send them to my homies.
Photos?
I still have some of them in my phone. Yeah, I was just there. Like, yeah, I never really thought I would be in a place where I can just like meet these people that I used to just see on the screen back in Philippines.
Yeah,
it's just weird, like to be able to like move from one world to another, and am able to exercise my hobby, which is photography, and thankfully it's related to skateboarding, which is and then DIY happened, and now it's like I'm more I can exercise my field to document and then just capture everything as much as possible. Yeah.
Wow. Were there any skate photographers you looked up to, or were you really into
a lot. Going back, skate photography is photography and skateboarding. I really started taking photos of my friends way back when I got injured back in Philippines. But taking photos of them, and then I just settled in one platform when I got here. When I started making friends with the shops back in San Mateo, Atlas. Their series of their film, seeing their film, their work just made me realize I need to stand in one platform and just have an identity, you know what I mean?
Develop your style, your own personal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just it's all personal preference if you want to stay either digital or film, or you can just do both.
Do you feel like you found it, or that you're still evolving and finding what your style is in the photo?
It's not that it's not that I'm looking for something. I wanted to exercise everything as much as I can. So keep exploring and
keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh and keep it unique. Keep it consistent, and then it builds your identity. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
And how has it been making that transition from California and seeing all these pros to Chicago, where we do have a lot of skaters? We're more low key, not as
more
glamorous.
Low key. Yeah, it's more the skate scene there is quite getting mellowed. The fact that California is quite an expensive state and a lot of people are moving out. But based on my observation, it's the passionate people are becoming less in that state, but.
Oh, wow. Now you're getting the jaded side.
And then they started moving out here, and I've met more artistic people around here in the city.
That's so sick.
Mm-hmm. But I'll never forget all the artists that I know back in the Bay Area for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Wait, and what else? I had a question for you that I had in my brain, and now I can't remember. But I'm what were we talking about? The DIY.
Do you mind if I ask the question?
Oh,
yeah, sure.
So I wanted to ask about Alex's makeshift broom, so we could speak about that since he's not here. Y'all can speak about that. Your not trash sculpture.
I'm around for all of the stuff that Alex is building anyway, or whatever. So.
And the reclaimed grill. I want you guys to talk about the stories behind how
Janet,
those objects.
you need to come over here to this because I don't know any of this.
Okay, that's really quick. So I wanted to ask about the makeshift broom, the not trash piece, and then the grill, because all of those were accumulated. And I know that they have their own individual stories. I know you were telling me about how you picked that
so there's
wall right off your job or something.
Yeah, so there's a little Wally block of concrete that I have a business that allows me to drive around the city a lot and a lot of independent free time, and no one really bothers me, and I'm in a lot of alleys and whatnot as well, and kind of just grimy areas. And one of my jobs has these angled little trapezoids. They're perfect wall or Wally obstacles in front of a dumpster, and I had hurt my back pretty bad, but I drove by, I saw these things sitting in the alley, and I was like, holy shit, the DIY needs at least one of these. So I struggled, got it in the car, brought it to the DIY, drove it into the alley, couldn't get it out of the car, but there's a young, strong dude there with long hair. His name is Zach. He now is part of the whole crew or whatever, but he's part of the regular building thing. But I was
you met him
that's the day I met him. I was like, young man, help me grab this thing out of my car. I'm gonna fucking die. And started telling him about building it and all that shit. But then the funny thing is I do a lot of business for these people, and the next time I was at that building, they had not trash written on the other piece of concrete, which I think that they think that someone probably picked it up as trash, the dumpster people. But yeah, that's Alex's favorite little item to skate. And then Alex's broom that's 3.0 at this point. He's made a couple of them. I have a broken one at my house. He's just always trying to Alex is always He's a very creative soul, and he's
Yes.
always trying to like build shit, like just like whatever's going through his head, and it's always like super creative too. Like he was sending me some pictures of these like skateboard shoe racks that he's making that are like way different than what you would think they would look like.
Is that what he's currently working on now? I saw it
Yeah.
on
So
his
like
story.
I was gonna say they're like really
I'm making
cool.
a video with him too.
And almost- yeah, and almost
What,
like
fabrication
mid-century-
process? Nice.
But they're like mid-century modern look. They're like they have like a whole like funky like 70s style to them.
Like
but they're
Art
like
Deco kind
yeah,
of.
like or I don't probably know the right terms, but yeah, there's like old vintage like furniture looking, but like out of skateboards. But yeah, dude's always just building stuff. So like the push broom was to be so he could ride around on his bike and then just clean up spots. Like we're always trying to like rub brick things and whatever. And yeah, so he was trying to like cut brooms apart and then they fill them with like epoxy and other things and like put like the male and female ends of like pipe fitting like joining things or whatever. And then he just ended up like, so he made a couple of them and then just found that like a company actually makes them. So like the one that we currently have right now is one that like he bought. It's like for like street cleaners and stuff like that, or like for like professional like maintenance crews or whatever. It's like a really nice, like it extends. It's very, very quiet.
Yeah, I think
it's
I
like,
saw the
yeah. So that's like, but yeah, I've got one that's got like rebar that I need to fix because I broke it on accident. It's at my house that he made. That's a good one, but they're pretty heavy because they usually have like a lot of material to like make them keep the things together. And then his birdhouse, like he like, so for a while we were building shit and then bringing it over to this school that's over in McKinley Park that has these slappy curbs, and we were just
school slappy.
Yeah, we were just bringing, we call it like slappy school or whatever, like it's kind of like the South Side slappy spot that no one knows about because it's like only like 10 of us that know about it. It's like our fake version. It's our fake version of the 606 or whatever.
Yeah.
They also like told us to probably not come back there anymore. So like, but they had like this big dumpster that we would hide boxes behind and everything. And I bought power tools on a Black Friday a couple years ago, and like with knowing nothing, I didn't know how to like drill or saw. And then me and Alex, Pat, Zach, all of us just sat in the backyard. I'd buy a bunch of wood or like find some wood, and we'd cut it up and like build boxes. And that's like all the boxes that are over there are just like shit that I built. But one day Alex was just like, he got fixated on birdhouses. I don't know where that comes from. So like Alex would have to speak on that, but like he got like, I think it was that he had a birdhouse deck and it was like, this would be cool to make a birdhouse deck. And so the one that's at the DIY literally is a birdhouse deck that has like a logo that says birdhouse across it. Like
I've seen that
now
one,
he's like on some other shit when he's doing like, I have one at my house, like some really cool birdhouses, but like, yeah, I think the first one was like literally like, hitting the nail on the head, like being very, like,
He likes to bring
this is
things
a
in the park.
birdhouse.
Yeah.
He's super creative. He's always like making stuff or whatever in the lab, as we call it.
Nice, in the lab. So what about the grill that you kind of like now have?
I don't know how that.
He's the media manager and the grill master.
Right. Well, I mean, one building day we just got there, and then Juan just pointed out that, hey, we just got a grill. I forgot the story behind it. But
Yeah, where did that grill come? I think Juan got the grill.
Juan got the grill.
Juan
But
has
it wasn't a grill, right? Like.
No, I think it is.
I think it
was
is.
a grill?
I think it is. I think it's just
I
a
think
really,
it's a
really
DIY.
dilapidated.
Yeah, it's like a DIY grill.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I don't know.
It's the way it's welded.
Yeah.
It's and then especially the what do you call that one?
The grate on it.
Yeah, the grate on it. It doesn't even look like a grill to me. It looks. It
looks like off like a shopping cart or something.
Yeah.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
Something similar like that.
But yeah, Juan has a flatbed truck and I think works for the city and like also does like his art endeavors. But I think he has something that he does with the city as well. But yeah, I think he also like runs into, similar to me, like runs into things that are like in gray areas or are being sitting in the alley, and we'll claim them. That's how we have that giant. We have that giant tool shed that he it's like the same one that the city has because it's one of the cities, but they just it couldn't lock anymore, so like we just put our own lock on it now. So like, but yeah, that thing's insane.
Yeah, it works, right?
Yeah, it's got
it works a lot.
It's got a ton of tools and stuff in it. It's pretty crazy. Like it's a great resource to have because we have like tons of paint and tile in there, and it's nice.
Yeah, bunch of good stuff. So wait, how did you unofficially take on that role as the grill master?
Well, everyone was busy, so everyone was hustling, and then I would always be the guy who steps back and take photos. So I pretty much have all the excess time. So and then the day when Juan brought the grill, he just pointed out to me, all right, you buy this and that, and then I just self-assumed myself that I guess I'll be the griller. And then I just applied all the stuff that I learned from grilling, and then I learned as I go.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm grilling for all the guests over there.
Yeah, that was some good burgers.
It was.
Yeah, Pat's kind of like the floater. Like he would always like. There's no defined roles out there, but there's like things that people like to do, and like Pat usually just like sits back and just kind of finds whatever is like on the.
Yeah, I mean, going back as a photographer, you'll always be the observant guy. You know, you would always step back and make sure everything is under operational. You know, every
just keeps things running.
Every individual is under. You know.
So I know Shane's not here, couldn't make it, but tell us about Shane and like what his role is in the 35th DIY. I know he does like his job.
He works for I think it's Fifth Pocket, and then I think he does like freelance for like Grindline and other, like he's just like literally if you're on his Instagram, it's all he's doing is fucking building concrete parks. Like yes, Shane, you read. So like I don't live on the south side anymore. I live in fucking like basically Wisconsin. But I do work in the city and I am obsessed with the DIY. It's like my favorite thing. Besides like my family and my animals. So I drive by there pretty religiously and just always I talk to everyone. I'm a fucking talkative person. So one day I drove by there and my friend Damien is hanging out, just like smoking a spliff, chilling, and I'm just I love Damien, so I fucking hop out and I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Hey, I'm just actually waiting. I was supposed to do some skate school today because he's a skate coach. If you want to do Damien skate school." Sorry, I keep talking to the camera. But anyway, so Damien was there. We're chilling. We're talking. He said he's got some friends showing up. Alyssa, who builds with us a lot, she shows up, and Shane. And Shane was asking, like he's actually building, he builds DIYs all the time, builds everything. He was actually wanting to like meet someone that was involved with it. So I just told him, I was like, dude, it's like Friday. I'm like, come by on Sunday. We're going to be building or whatever. I actually had other arrangements or whatever, and so I didn't get to go there, but him and Alyssa showed up right when I said, like they're very dutiful to like the the whole job and like getting the shit done, and then like he's got all the expertise, so he like the next thing that like we were building, like the next thing that I saw because I wasn't there, was like really nicely done. It's that that really steep quarter pipe on the side. He came in and instantly had an impact. And then that's why we have that snake that looks so nice now. Like, it's really, really nice. Like,
so I was there on that build day for the snake, and I remember he rolled up with Alyssa, and they brought their, like, toolbox.
Oh, yeah. No, he's...
And they, like, opened it, and they had all these tools, and I was like, what's going on? Like, super prepared, like, ready. Mm-hmm. And it was this, like, really quiet guy just, like, doing his job, doing his thing, and I was just, absorbing everything and watching everything. But everything was so well done, and like it was a really great experience just for me to help out in that process because like I had no knowledge.
Oh yeah, no, that's something that we like. That's what like none of us had any knowledge outside of Shane. Like none of us had any knowledge. Like I do pest control for a living. Like I take care of rats. I've mixed a ton of concrete. Have I ever smoothed it out or mixed it properly? No. Like I never did any. I just did it enough to get the job done. Yeah. So like. None of us had any clue. So it's like when people show up that are now like 2 years behind me or like a year behind Adlai or 2 years behind Pat, like we like to, like that's 2 years of experience so we can like, like you don't have to make any of the mistakes that we did. You can learn all the shit from us and like, it's like, it's fun to teach other people. And then that way, like, hopefully there'll be a DIY revolution and people that like don't live on the south side can go build some on the north side and whatever. But yeah, I think it's a nice part about the DIY is that like, I think that we're pretty like, like we keep saying, like polite skaters, and we like to just like we're just trying to like be a big community thing and like have this is very much for the community. Like we want people to like learn how to like pour concrete. Like it's something I think that we don't think about when we're kids. Growing up, I would have been doing DIY shit all the time if I had YouTube. Like if I would have known that like you can just go like take water and mix it together and in like 2 days you can skate it. Like I had no clue. Like I was the dumb kid. Like I had no direction like that. So I think that like it's fun now that like through Instagram and through just like meeting people, like people will come over, they'll learn, tons of people have come by and at least like mix their first bag of concrete and like at that like is you're a step ahead of everyone else already. Like it's I think it's a big deal. Like learning what you're doing with skateboarding, not just like skating the shit, but like what goes into like building a park and you look at like a pyramid and you're like, oh yeah, that's just these sides. Like that'd be fucking like that's so complex. It's like so complicated. Like it's and like we did ours looks cool. It's like fine. It's like it could be better. Like it's good, but like it's like cool to like so now if we build another one, we've learned all that stuff and we can pass it on. So we like and then hopefully someone that learns from us will never make any of those mistakes, and then
Right.
they'll just be like solid and just.
So, last question from me, and then I'll hand it back to Marlon. Y'all were recently at the band's holiday market, and I feel like that was like your first time kind of like presenting yourselves to the city as like the 35th DIY, or like Marshfield Courts.
Yeah, Marshfield Courts.
And so how was that experience for y'all? Because I know y'all were selling some of your stuff, and you were just like really happy to just like talk to people and about the 35th DIY. So like, how was that experience, and like how proud do you feel to take ownership as being a part of this crew?
So honestly, I'm super proud. It's my favorite thing. Like, it's like I look at that park and I can't believe that me and my friends did this. Like, that we have a I talk a lot about my job, like about skateboarding at my job, which I'm sure like my clients love. But like, they're always like, "What do you mean you're building a concrete park?" And I'm like, "Look at these fucking pictures, dude." And they're always like, "Holy shit!" Like, you are building, like, they think I'm building like a tiny little lump of concrete, and then they look at, they're like, "There's rebar in that." I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, there's probably like 25,000 pounds of concrete now at this point, or so." Like, we poured a shit ton of of material onto the earth. Like, it's pretty cool. Like, I feel like this is amazing. Like, this is just like beyond my wildest dreams. Like, I think it's very cool. I like it very much. So.
Yeah, we never really thought we would make it that far to a point where like we are now fundraising and for next season's build, and we were just lucky enough to be to get an opportunity to be at the House of Bands and just have people like look at our work, and like presenting everything was just like a whole different level, especially for me. Especially for those who were there, Alex,
was that your
Adelaide.
first time like presenting your work?
Yeah.
To, like an art, like a skate.
Yeah,
space?
yeah.
Like,
It happened to be on a skate scene, which is like really,
Yeah.
really something I really wanted to do before. But Alex, Adelaide, me, Juan. It's a whole like what do you call this one? It's a very fun experience for me. First time in a skate event, and then you present your work, and it's just like it's like being in a gallery, and then like people watch your work and then explain how
But a gallery of cool people, because we're all skaters versus art people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then not only that, you tell the story of the DIY as well, and good story, especially Alex's table.
Yeah, that shit was great.
Props to his presentation. Like he's like the what do you call this one? Like the front page of the whole
Yeah, he had an Xbox 360 with Skate 3 in there. Like a very just a good presentation, like a whole like immersive. Like, this is what brings people to the table. Like kind of
Yeah.
It was also like we'd always like the first year we had debated like even having like now we have like an Instagram page. Now we talk about it to other people and stuff, but for a while we were just like, like we're not. We don't want to end up like the other ones. Like, we just, like we don't want it to be too blown up. But like at this point now we're trying to like smooth the ground out. Like, we're just going to require heavy machinery. Like, so we're eventually going to have to like ask people for money and stuff. Like it's gotten to the point now where like we do have to like advertise a little bit, because like we do want to like get way more serious with it, like and make some crazier shit.
For a gardener.
Oh yeah, we got
a whole ship, complete crew.
Yeah, and like things just like people falling into like the places.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah, it's all mutual. Like we would just understood ourselves.
Yeah, no one's like hounding anyone to do anything.
And no one's like bringing like, you have to do this. It's like people willingly want to come. And
I mean, sometimes we're like, yo, we're all doing this shit. Come grab it. Like, like we need more hands on it or whatever. Yeah. But there's never like you haven't mixed any concrete today. You need to mix concrete now. Like, or there's never any of that shit. Like, we're just like, if you don't want to do it today, cool. Like, fucking putz around and like do what like. Do whatever, man. Like, it's like
no one bats an eye.
I'm not your boss. You're not my boss. We're all just fucking hanging out and we're friends. But that's why it works better, because we all are like, like someone sees someone, then they just help. That's like, it's not or like someone just asks and they just help. There's no like whole like there's no like egos in any of this. Yeah, it's all that's a very nice part. And it's just like we're all just here to like help each other, and just at the end of the day we just want a fucking cool skate park.
And then I feel like you guys like not bring people in, but people are interested in coming.
Yeah.
But then it's just like all pretty like natural. Like it's nothing.
Yeah, it's
feels,
funny. Like we would.
forced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when we would make announcements like the day before the building, and then we would have like special guests, like new faces every Sunday, and then and then next thing we would like talk about the park, introduce the park, and then tell them what's next, and tell them what's going on, tell them what's next, and yeah, we're just like touring the new faces around, and then they would help build, and yeah.
And you guys would always have like the treats. Like
Oh, yeah.
I always work on Sunday, so sometimes I would stop in like half an hour before work, and there was always like
It's a party. There's like
or,
Yes,
like, treats or like
there's always
Alex was always the coffee guy. He would always like be the. He was always.
Alex always shows up with coffee
volunteer
because when he was working at the car dealership, I think he was getting some like Starbucks thing or whatever. So he'd show up with coffee.
Yeah. And then I started adding more like fruits.
And then he would show up with fruits and nuts and lots
And
of
a cooler.
chips that I've not seen, like some sugary barbecue one, like the sweet
Oh,
barbecues.
sick.
Yeah, so those are good.
And the cooler, and the next thing you know, we had the griller, and then it's a complete package. So we went from just building to
like it's like a whole
build,
like vibe and like
now
a party. Like
it's a whole shebang
It looks
now.
like a good time.
no, it's like
Yeah.
that's my whole Sunday
It's-
during the summer is like get there and then you build and then you chill and then you skate we skate. It's like a whole like from sun up to sundown and then
It'd be from session to event
yep,
technically.
that's very nice.
It evolved that way, and now
I don't know. It's like you could do some of those things at like a skate park, but I feel like it wouldn't have like the same feel because
No,
there's
not at all.
like building aspect to
No,
it.
we
like,
before the pandemic, we used to bring grills to LV2 and like we'd have cookouts there, and it was nice, but it's just not like the same. Like someone would come and grab a burger and then just fucking like dip out to
Yeah,
somewhere.
dip out.
Like
it's more
everyone like
intentional.
everyone
when
like
you're
sits with
coming
each
to
other and we all
DIY.
like chat and like hang out and like talk about like it's just nice. Like we all
Those are
talk to
always
each
fun.
other and like
yeah, those are best.
But yeah, that's one that we try to make it like as we meet people and bring them on, we try to keep it pretty natural, so we're not like making people feel fucking like weird or left out.
Yeah, or like I also like had that feeling like I could come in like this week and then not come in next.
Oh,
week.
yeah,
Like,
that's what I always
I'll
tell
be
people.
chill and then like come in like you know what I mean. There's not like
Yeah, you're also if you've done any work there, like you are already like you're in the top 98% of like the work, like you're like a worker bee basically, like you're not a lurker anymore. Like people that come up there and don't do anything, like then like you can't say that you did any of this stuff or whatever, but like you mix a bag, then go ahead and tell us what you want to build there or whatever, like like all of a sudden you're part of it, in my opinion. Like if you've done any work there, like it's but that's why it's nice that people like everyone has jobs and shit, and like like some people can only make it there like one Sunday a year. Like we've had a couple of them, and they were some of our best days when we had people just like the one time like show up and throw it all that day, like all the work and effort, and
yeah,
it's cool.
And I know that you guys can keep it going regardless if there's like 70 people there one day, or if there's only like you and Alex. And
me and
Juan,
Alex did the
like,
snake.
Like so you know that it could keep going
Yeah.
no matter like the amount of people.
Well, that's the amazing thing about concrete too, is that it's like you can fit most regular car you can fit like 10 bags in a car or whatever. 10 bags can make you like an obstacle, and like I don't know, 2 people can mix 10 bags in like like an hour and a half basically. Yeah, mix it and then start like with 3 hours you could probably have it all smoothed out and whatever. So
Wow. I feel like this is kind of like what I was like getting at when I was like asking about like how has your like outlook in skateboarding changed since you started like working?
Yeah, I was gonna re-ask you to ask that question,
the DIY. But I just like kind of feel like these are like you started talking about like the neighbors and like talking about like the community aspect of it. And I'm like I feel like that's something you don't quite think about when you're only like skating a park or skating like street. You think about like your friends you're gonna invite to the session, but when you're skating a street spot, you're just thinking of like getting like the clip and not getting kicked out, but you're not like usually not going to consistently keep skating that spot. There would be like a new street spot.
Yeah, and be like,
so
I have to worry about this neighbor over here and shit.
You don't think about like the neighbors or that these are actual people that like live in these like communities, or like you don't really think about the area that much.
Oh, everyone like people walk in and just talk to us. They're like, oh, this is so cool. That's also my favorite thing, is that everyone that comes over there tells us they're going to bring some shit, and then they never do. Like non-skaters. Skaters always show up with stuff or whatever, but like randoms always show up and they're like, oh, my kid would love to take their scooter over here or whatever. Like I'm going to come over with some concrete, or I'll bring bring some whatever. I'll bring some beer for you. Like, and they never fucking do it. It's the best. I love it.
That's all right. That's cool.
We had 2 dudes come over and mix like 160 pounds of concrete, smoking cigarettes the whole time or whatever, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we work for, we do this. We're gonna bring all this shit to you guys," and we never saw them again. But they literally grabbed shovels out of hands and were just like shoveling like fucking. They were going crazy. It was awesome. Yeah, they were maybe having fun on other stuff, but yeah, they're moving really fast.
Yeah, I'm like, that's what I like about like street skating, like seeing like the random people that don't skate like become interested, but this is like that, but also like more.
Oh, you're mixing it wrong. I'm like, okay, cool. Show me how to do it, bro. Like,
more personal. Yeah, that's like pretty sick. I don't know. That's like beautiful too, to like be thinking about like having like a positive impact on like the community, because I feel like a lot of like skating is like centered around like your homies and like you're skating.
Well,
it takes like a lot of mental space to like skate, and I feel like it's like hard to like bridge that gap to think about like the community and how like your skating is seen. And I feel like a DIY not forces you, but like you're able to like see that other side of it too, and it's like nice. Like I don't know.
Well, I mean, street skating mode, you have to be that way. You have to be, you know, fuck you, go away. Like leave me alone, get on my way, and I'm doing this thing, and like that's illegal. Like so what? Like it's like the DIY is like no, you're doing something. Like yes, we are. We're sorry. Like, no. We're sorry. Would you please be nice?
Yeah.
But yeah, we're very like fortunate. Also, Alex, you know, MVP. Like he's the guy that like I don't speak Spanish. Don Roll doesn't speak much English. I think one of Alex's cousins, someone lives upstairs that like had a whole. but it wasn't your cousin. But it was a different one. I think it lives upstairs of that. Of the attic.
The attic.
And that was the instant. The second he was like, "Hey," and then Don Roll was like, "You guys need water? You need electricity?" So he just shoots his hose underneath. Like so, it was one of those things that like we didn't have that until Alex initially started talking to him, and now so like when we show up there, he goes over to the door, knocks on it, has a chat. All of a sudden, like, extension cord comes out. You know, we get the.
Well, that goes a long way. That you can like think about. Like I don't know.
We were blessed enough to like surrounded by those type of.
Or the dudes next door on the other side. They do they do tiles like work. That's all they do. They're like, hey, like they're the ones that gave the slabs for the marble ledge the first time. Like they were like, if you ever want any more, we'll cut you whatever slab you want, and you can do it. And
so sick.
I think we're kind of like concrete only now at this point. Because I keep trying to put rebar, or not rebar, but angle iron on a couple things, and as I was saying, like, you know, we just get politely shot down.
I know.
No angle iron.
I saw at Thanksgiving, I saw Alex on an iPad making the rules, and he said, like, no angle iron. Yeah. I'm like, why? What?
Well, those rules got shot down, I think, too. So that was...
Nice try.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're a very democratic, you know, if... It's got to be, the whole group's got to like it. It can't just be like one person. Like, and if it is going to be one person, then you have to show up there, mix all the concrete, pour it, and then like show everyone what you wanted.
You need people to make the vision come true. Yeah, that's like so nuts, because I always like thought this of skaters, that there's like so much potential like beyond skateboarding, just in the way that we like think.
Hyper creative people always.
Yeah, I'm like being honest about skaters, but I'm like I feel like there's like, but it's hard. I feel like. Not all skaters, but some skaters to like make that move from like taking that mentality outside of like skateboarding. Yeah, outside
of just looking at weird spots and thinking of crazy tricks. Just like what also like what could I make? How could I like pay for it the least? You know, like how can I get like product here to build this shit? Like it's like a new skate. It's a new.
Like there's like all these like the creative aspect and the community aspect and like the hardworking aspect and like the passion. I'm like, oh dude, like you could do like so much good for the community or do like creative stuff like outside of like skateboarding, and almost like a lot of people don't. But I feel like now with this DIY, like I see people branching out into like other things that are like skate related because of the like DIY, but also like help out the community and help out people that are like not skaters, which is like
sorry, need more parking.
So sick. Yeah, no worries. But yeah, that's so sick. Well, any final thoughts that you guys?
We're excited on next season's build. We're talking about what do you call this one? The garden.
Yeah, we're gonna work more on the garden.
Paint the snake maybe, or was it? It was goofily painted.
I don't know. I mean, like this is gonna get us into a whole other conversation. I'm not. See, this is the democratic part. I'm not even into painting the snake right now. Let's finish the part before you paint anything. But I think that we're going to work on next year, and like anyone that is listening or watching, please come down and help. You don't need to bring any money, just yourself. But I think that all of us would like to finish that quarter pipe on the back wall that is more of like a bank ramp, kick turn zone. We're going to build some big pocket on the other side with like a pizza. I think that we're talking about building a pizza oven out there.
Cool.
So we'll be the only skate park with a pizza oven. And
creative.
Yeah, I think I was just like,
Cool
I think I'm just like, yeah, it's just excited just like to mix
multifunctional.
concrete again and go skate there. Like I already miss it. Like it's a bummer that it's winter and yeah.
And get people excited.
Yeah, but pretty much
That's
like,
the
yeah,
fun part.
I'm really excited for this. There's another Vans thing coming up in January, I think, like another Vans market. I think more of us, me and Zach are going to be selling stuff there this time.
Yeah, so if anybody
Oh, we're
wants
given
to-
the opportunity again.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so if anybody wants to come out and support,
Yeah.
like,
And we'll talk
and
more about
check
it, and then
out.
we'll have more stuff outside of like the because it was just Pat, Alex, and Juan.
Adley.
What?
4 of us.
Adley didn't make anything, did he?
Oh, wow. Bogus.
What do you make?
Huh?
What do you make for the thing?
For the House of Vans?
Yeah.
His art, you remember?
Oh shit! Yeah. I'm sorry.
Wow.
he was next to Alex.
Anyway, yeah. Sorry, Adley. I love you. No, I forgot. But yeah, so it'll be Zach and I are gonna bring something too. So we were just trying to generate as much money for the DIY because we'd like to pour as much concrete as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's so
I would like to be. I mean, like honestly, as much fun as I have building it, like it's one of those things that like I'd love to see it be done too, and just go there and skate it all the time.
And skate it. Yeah, the building's fun.
The building's fun, but like I get one day off a week, like and that's my and so I just and so it's like straight up just building, and then like at the end it's like exhausted skating. It's just it's fun, but
it's the only work you're excited to clock in.
yeah, obviously it really is. I'm very excited to clock in there, but yeah, it's one that I wouldn't mind. Just like a full on fucking like just be like just blast it all out and then just have it as a park and like just skate it and just be done with it.
Yeah.
Not that I don't love this entire process. I think it's like my favorite fucking thing. But it's just more like I just see where it's gonna go and just like what I'm already like I've got lines planned in my head already. Like I want to go do shit. Like I want to build the pizza oven and skate it.
Yeah, that's one more goal. That's one more that we're trying to maintain is the flow of the whole of the whole spot, because the fact that it's like what's the dimension of that place? It's not.
It's a basketball court.
Yeah, it used to be a basketball for kids, right?
No, just well, I mean, like it's just a regular city.
Not, yeah,
no,
but
it's
it's
not
not the
regulation.
official measurement of basketball.
Nothing is ever.
Okay.
Not public basketball courts are not going to be regulation.
Right.
That's a big court. But they it's like the size of a basketball court. But yeah, I think or at least for me, I really want to skate in it, and like I think what he's saying is like we just want to make it more. We have limited space to like make flow, and I think that we've all talked about like a little bit about like figure eights always like like that or vice versa or whatever, like so that's why like the snake is the position the way it is, why like the pyramid is, and why we have like a whole pocket and other thing coming up. But yeah, like the big stuff is coming this next couple of years.
It's fun to skate it right now.
Oh, it's super fun to
Oh,
skate.
yeah,
Yeah,
right
but
now,
it's like I can't.
But no, I would just love
better.
to. I would just love to. Yeah, like there's, we've got like a tentative plan like drawn up, and then there's like extra like ideas that are like being tossed around. But like the next year or two are going to be like there's going to be some crazy shit, like a pizza oven that is like. So like pools, they have like that cake thing, like there's like the seat that they call the cake or whatever. Like we're gonna have like a pizza oven cake. Like we're gonna have like a whole fucking wall ride that goes around. I think we're trying to build a tree fort, maybe a fire pit. Like I don't know. Like it's just supposed to be like more than just a skate spot. Like I'd like to just go there and like if I can't skate, like just hang out or whatever. But
Yeah, that sounds so.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to do it and get it done because
that's
how I break rules.
for sure we're gonna brainstorm on this one because it takes a lot of because we're talking about oven.
Yeah, we never made an oven.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be a functional oven?
Yeah, like a functional pizza oven,
Ooh.
like like the coal ones or whatever.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that. I think is like that was Juan's idea.
That's
but
so sick.
That is so.
That's
Yeah.
that's gonna
Yeah.
be so unique to Chicago too.
yeah,
Like
deep
that.
dish,
definitely.
right there.
Deep, yeah, deep dish Chicago style. Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
for sure.
Do you see yourselves like doing more of like? I know this is like we have to savor this that's going on right now, and there's a lot of like it's still a baby and more things are going into it. But after this, do you see yourself working on other DIYs, or do you think it's going to be like something that you keep taking with you and like?
Oh yeah, I'm
Probably.
gonna be. I bought a house. I'm like very fortunate in life, and I have a house
Backyard.
up, and I have a backyard, and I have a decent sized driveway, and I'm gonna take a lot of this shit. This has been my game plan for my whole life, is to build this. It's going into my house too. So
that's so sick.
So that'd be like
That's
probably the
so
next
cool.
place is my driveway.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna I want to build. That's why so I was kind of the one that pushed like the bank to ledge or the bank to slappy curbs thing or
Yeah,
whatever.
that thing was so fun.
I wanted to do that because I wanted to see how it was, so I could put it in my
Test
driveway,
run.
and it's really cool. So yeah, I'm gonna be building those. But yeah,
And
that's
have people come over to like where you're at now
Yeah.
too, with like new thing to skate or like to
exactly.
check out.
So that's the one that I mean, if you want to come to Wisconsin, basically, but.
No, Wisconsin. Like, people like taking little trips. Like it's sick.
But yeah, so I definitely see myself, as long as I can mix concrete and do stuff like I've always wanted to like do something like Gerardo and Mike do, like they're like little like skateboard Johnny Appleseeds. Like they go around and they fucking like plant little like skate spots everywhere, and it's sick. Like it's like that's all I'd like to do that next, probably. Like once we're done with all this, like build shit at my house, and then like I drive a lot for my job, and I have a lot of like intermittent weird areas of free time where I could probably just go like, hey, this needs just a little bank on it, and that's a skate spot. Just unlock shit for people.
That is so sick, and that builds community too. It like keeps like a new generation skating. Maybe that's close to their house, and that's where they
exactly
go to
like and
skate
just
that.
put some fucking black rainbows on it real quick, and like just like ride your board over things real quick. Just like let people know like that's a skate. Like you can skate on that.
I
like,
love those types of things where it's like you are helping the community, but sometimes like not directly. You never know what the impact of that is, but like you are helping in like some way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There was a thing I was just seeing. It was like on Jenkum or something. That was like these dudes that were building these weird ass shaped concrete things. Like the biggest one was like 3,000 pounds. The rest were like 250 to 500. But they were weird fucking shapes, and they put them in the middle of these plazas. First, without anyone's like consent, they would just in the middle of the night drop these like weird wallable like tiny ledges and things. And then he'd come back a month later and be like, I hope people skated it, and you'd see like all like the ingrained wax and everything, and be like, yes, they did it. Yeah, so it's like one of those like you could like you're just like casting it out there and hoping someone will bite. But I think skaters were like nuts, like we literally like cover every little fucking like every little corner, nook and cranny. Like the amount of times I like will send a picture to someone and say like, you ever seen this spot? And they're like, no, it's like over here. Like I've seen that shit. It's kind of whack. Like or like it's pretty crusty, or just like the instant feedback on it, like that I get from people. I'm like, because skaters are fucking nuts. We go everywhere. Like it literally, if we need like a search party for humans, be like, there's a skate spot over in this area. You need to go find it. Like and you fucking go like skaters would be like in every little nook and cranny, like figuring it out, like breaking into buildings, whatever. Like we're lunatics.
And Chicago's like so big and wide that sometimes I'll skate something in like a random area and like somebody has already skated it. Like I'll see like wax.
Dude, you posted
or
that Burger
something.
King thing on there. I drove down Western once. I almost crashed my car doing I was gonna do a U-turn to go take a picture of it, and I was like, no, I'm late for work. I can't do it. And then I see it on your story, and I was like, is that? Because I was driving. I didn't even know those rocks were there. I was like, oh shit, is that Burger King? Like that's the fucking.
Yeah.
They're building banks behind Burger King.
Oh my God, so sick.
Nice.
But yeah, like we're degenerates. Like we're just like we're always looking for weird fucking spots.
But it's like comforting. It's like
my girlfriend's always telling me to stop looking at like stop doing this, like fucking But I might skate that. She's like, dude, we're not anywhere close to the house. You're not driving out here to go skate this like 1 foot ledge like
you might
in Barrington, Illinois. Like you're not going back there.
You don't want to drive.
You'll never know. Hell yeah. Well, any final thoughts?
I was gonna keep documenting this whole this whole thing, and it's important to a point where everybody deserves highlight, and that's my goal. So like highlight everybody because everybody deserves it. Everyone worked for it, and make it what do you call this one, like media friendly, and do my thing as a media guy.
Yeah, I feel like that's good too. It I don't know, like makes it more accessible and less intimidating when they just like see like your pictures and how it is and like the community and stuff. I don't know. I think
it also has come like when he first met us, he told us I'm the team media manager. That was the other thing too. Just like jokingly, and then years later now at this point it has come to fruition. Now he is like documenting he's our team media manager. It's but yeah, initially he's like we're like film us then please like. And yeah, it's very documented. I like it.
Yeah.
That's also a thing too. Like I appreciate people that take photos because I'm not someone that's like sitting and like this is a nice time. Like, I'm just fucking doing stuff or
Yeah,
whatever. Like, I'm always like,
Mean
I'm like a
muscle
bird. I'm
has
like
to
doing
catch
too
you.
many different things in my brain or whatever. But like, yeah, Pat's like, let me look, and these guys look like they're like, you know, I'm always like happy to like stop and like in the middle of a building, look at my stories and be like, oh, like.
Yeah, I always think of that too, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you're having a rough day, just to like.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite. So the other like another photographer, Mike, with us or whatever, he did
Yes, Mike.
like a beautiful group photo of all of
Shout
us.
out to
like
Mike.
yeah, that's like it's I love it. It's like my favorite photos. Like it's all of us just like not knowing when the camera was gonna go off, all sitting on like the pyramid, like laughing hysterically because we keep thinking it's going off and being like smile, and then people are like,
that's so cute.
yeah, it's like, you know, a nice family photo, but it's the family that you got to pick versus, you know, your
Some toxic ass family member.
right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like nice to hear you guys too. That like you guys all like back each other and
Oh, hell
like
yeah.
each other's like
Yeah.
work or like speak highly of each other.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that's like we're true friends. Like we're not like you know, like there's some friends that like kind of like talk shit and dog each other all the time. I grew up that way in the '90s or whatever. That shit sucked. Yeah, I very much like we're like I like that we're playing like we're really nice to each other. I like it a lot. It's I enjoy my friend group.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll leave on that now.
All right.
Like,
Oh, yes.
This was fun.
It was super fun.
It was.
And now we skate.
Yes, let's go see.